কেন দেবে না? দাও দাও না, ওই তো পকেটে দেখা যাচ্ছে পয়সা। দাও, কি মনে করো কি? আরে চলে যাচ্ছ তুমি?
We are talking about the supernatural thriller Darkness Visible. This one is directed and co-written by Neil Biswas. And this features this character called Ronnie, who is this Indian guy who's been brought up in the UK, so he's completely westernised. And it's his 28th birthday, and his mother, who he's just seen, he gets a call suddenly from his cousin in Calcutta, India, saying that she's there, and she's been involved in a car accident, and she's like squared off ever going back to India. So Ronnie can't really understand, you know, how this or why this has happened. So he flies out to Calcutta to go and see his mother, who is in a coma in hospital, and there seems to be some type of family curse, supernatural threat that is threatening him and the people that are around him. Now, Ronnie is completely westernised. He can't speak the local dialect, so he's kind of relying on other people to kind of help him. So it's somewhat of a kind of a fish out of water story, but also dealing with this kind of mystery, this kind of supernatural threat. As the movie progresses, it's like an onion peel, layers come off, and you kind of peel away at the kind of the mystery to kind of uncover what's actually happened, and obviously all will be revealed at the end. So let's talk Darkness Visible. So this is less of a horror film, to be quite honest, although it does have stuff to do with supernatural forces, and there are some kind of eerie scenes, but I guess it's more of a supernatural thriller than an actual straight horror film, because there's not really any kind of gore here. There's not really any actual like jump scares, but there is kind of this omnipresent kind of creepy atmosphere. So what did I like about this movie? I actually thought this is almost like a blending of a couple of different genres. I mean, first of all, you have this kind of like this fish out of water story, which is interesting in its own right. You know, an Indian guy who's been brought up in London is completely kind of just acclimatised to the kind of the English culture, goes to kind of Calcutta and has to kind of deal with you know, his family that he's never really met before, and the kind of the lifestyle out there. In on its own, that's kind of an interesting kind of aspect. Then you kind of you layer in this kind of this supernatural thing, which is actually very well thought out. So the idea here is, I mean, I'm not going to give anything away, but suffice to say that there seems to be a serial killer who has ties to the past and has kind of supernatural overtones and may be connected to a variety of different things. I mean, I don't want to give too much away, because it's part of the fun here is kind of learning the mystery, but it's a very well thought out drama. So the actual story here, although it's a tad hard to follow for some people, I feel for the most part it kind of all makes sense by the end. It's, you know, it's quite a kind of has a kind of unique feel, and I really liked the obviously the casting here. I thought when we go to kind of Calcutta, we kind of go through the slums. Obviously, the people that they've got cast here really look like they've had a hard life. Let me put it like that. And the casting here, I think, is excellent for the most part, and it really adds this kind of obviously this different feel to it. Obviously, it has a it has a kind of a Bollywood tinge to it, but no one's breaking out in song or anything like that. But it definitely has a different feel and a kind of an element of the unknown. I mean, we've seen it a couple of times before. Beyond the Door, I think, was a recent one which kind of did, had a similar vibe, I suppose. But nonetheless, I thought the story here and the kind of the locations and just the general feel of it was all very, very good. The real kind of strip of this one, I will say, is the script. I think the script here is excellent, and it's a really kind of like twisty-turny film where I think the twists kind of make sense, but you don't particularly see them coming, at least not straight away. The cast here, I think, is all very good. The effects are kind of sort of minimal. Maybe would have liked to have seen a little bit more kind of on the kind of the supernatural sort of side. When we do see stuff, it's very understated. Our main actor, I think, is pretty good. I think he's out of all of them. He's not certainly a bad actor, but maybe kind of not quite as strong as some, but certainly an acceptable kind of performance, I would say. But generally speaking, I thought the acting here was all sort of top notch. I mean, I guess I don't really have any main criticisms. I mean, I feel some people might find it a little bit kind of hard to follow. There's not quite as much maybe overtly supernatural stuff, I think, maybe for some people. And really that's about it. I actually think this is a very, very good movie and very well made, and I actually really enjoyed it. So if you haven't seen it, it's just a difficult one to take. I really don't want to say too much about it, but just think about it more of a kind of a supernatural drama, mystery thriller, rather than an out-and-out horror, and you can kind of get your head around that. And be prepared for some, you know, a light kind of in regards to not a gory film or anything like that. It's well worth a watch. I actually thought this was a very engaging story, and with kind of interesting characters and a good, good pace and good plot development. So I'll give this one an 8 out of 10. Have you seen it? What did you think of it? Leave me a comment and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.